is lauded by the New York Times as being a terrific singer with a deep, rich timbre. And then the San Francisco Chronicle called him a opera powerhouse with a weighty and forthright sound. That is my friend Sidney Outlaw, and I agree with those critics. They got those reviews correct. He is a graduate of San Francisco Opera's Mirala program. He is a graduate of the program at the Opera Theater of St. Louis. He is a rising American baritone star from Brevard, North Carolina. And he has also recently added the accolade of Grammy nominee to his list of accolades. He is not only fantastic on the operatic stage, but he is a consummate orchestral soloist and an incredible recitalist. And he often partners with the one and only Mr. Warren Jones, who's one of the greatest collaborative pianists on the planet ever to have lived. Sidney is just an amazing person, amazing artist, and he has also added voice teacher to that. And so we're going to be able to talk about all of that and share with you the great Sidney Outlaw. There you are.
Ooh, child, listen. Listen. Okay. Hold on. Okay, I'm gonna turn the light on right there. I paid all that money on Amazon Prime for this little light thing. I'm
This
gonna turn it on.
light of mine. Let the light shine, baby.
Okay, exactly.
Let it shine.
Listen, you know I don't be getting on the Instagram live only except for to watch the Bonnet Chronicles. I'm out here in the garage.
I love it. Well, I'm so grateful that you allowed me to pull you out of the garage.
Yeah.
And bless the folks and talk to folks on this evening.
Listen, I'm happy to do it.
It's so good to see you, friend.
Absolutely.
How are you? Where are you?
I am in the People's Republic of Queens.
Okay.
And I'm just holding it down.
That was the hotbed for a minute.
Yeah,
Queens was just... Yeah. How did you survive all that? What were you doing?
I was just minding my own Black-owned business, you know. Nah, for real though, whenever everything went down, I just finished coming in from Toledo Symphony. And I just made it home before everything got crazy, and I got here just in time. And so whenever I got here, I had like 1 week where I was teaching like normal. When I'm home, I go out to Queens College, to school, to my office, and I teach. And then all of a sudden, boom, everything happened. So I was just kind of busy with making sure that like my studio stayed focused, make sure that they were okay, and kind of just to make sure that they had a sense of normalcy.
Yeah.
You know, we were operating, well, some of them were operating about 2 or 3 weeks ahead of schedule with their rep. So because I was on the road, you know, and so they were prepared. And so we just kind of merged into virtual learning, which is what they're used to when I'm away anyways.
Right. I got you. Okay.
So that was kind of normal for them as well. But I think the isolation kind of got to everyone.
Yeah.
It kind of got to everyone. So, you know, I just been doing that, teaching a lot and reading and journaling. And I joined Amazon finally. And they have this little group that you can join called the Amazon Prime. And they send you your stuff in like 2 days.
Just like that.
Okay.
Welcome to the Prime family.
Hello. And they got movies and stuff. So I downloaded everything, Whoopi Goldberg. And I just be sitting in my room, either driving my roommate crazy. You know, she works for the Lupus Research Alliance. And so she's working from home. And, you know, I just been chilling. I try to get out of the house once a day and go for a walk. I do my workouts outside as well.
Yeah.
Just kind of socially distant and just kind of try to stay positive. Try to stay up, you know?
You're one of the most positive people I know. So if anybody can do that, it's you.
Listen, I try, you know. I have a great support system that keeps me propped up.
Yes. Amen.
We need that.
We need that. So it says here that you are from Brevard, North Carolina. So will you take us back there to the beginning of
Oh,
Sidney Outlaw, and how did music come into your life, and in what fashion did it come into your life? Tell us about your family. What was
yeah.
going on in the household?
Yeah. If you talk to my dad, he'll say I was born singing. Uh, just because on my mom's side of the family, everybody's musical.
Okay.
I come from a big musical family, way, 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 generations and generations of musicians in my family. So the head of music has always been a woman in my family at our church at home. So I grew up around music. I grew up in church. That's just the way it's always been. That's all I knew. I wanted to do something in music.
Yeah.
And the first time I sang in public, I was 4 years old. I sang for a Dr. King celebration, and sometimes my cousins remind me of that, like when we go home or whatever.
Do you
But
remember what that was? Do you remember what you
I
sang?
absolutely sure do remember. We sang "From a Distance" by Bette Midler. It was 1990,
Oh,
and I remember we had to do it in a higher key because my voice was so low. And so me and my cousin Raquel, Drusilla, and Twanetta, we sang at the Martin Luther King celebration. And so that was the first time I remember singing in public. I was nervous. I
me
was
too.
nervous, but I got over it quickly because I started singing more, and then I joined the youth choir, which in my
Yeah.
church is different than the children's choir.
Yes.
And so music has always been a part of my life. And then I started in sixth grade, I started studying formally in band, and I played the
Okay.
trumpet for about a year, and then I switched to French horn, and I played French horn all the way up to college. But I was doing singing as well as playing horn.
Yeah. Okay.
So when I got to college, I started studying, voice officially. I'd been
Yeah.
in voice lessons since 10th grade,
Okay.
but I had to let French horn go because there ain't no way I was gonna be studying two different instruments in
Yeah.
college. Nah, I didn't want to do that.
Now, a lot of my guests went to specialized high schools. Was that your situation as well?
Nope. I went to a public high school. I'm a graduate of Brevard High School in Brevard, North Carolina on Country Club Road. But we had a special music program. You
Yeah.
know, back in my day, we wanted to be in concert chorus. We wanted to be in band. We wanted to be in the theater troupe. We wanted to be stage managers, and we
Yeah.
were interested in those things. And so our program was thriving back
Yeah.
then. We used to do the band competitions and choral competitions. That's how I met Moses Hogan, because I did all-state chorus and those types of things. It was the thing.
Wow.
It was the thing to be a part of the music program at Brevard High School. And so it felt like I was in some sort of a high school conservatory type setting, but I
Hmm.
wasn't. I was in public high school, and I'm still actually in touch with a lot of my teachers who are probably somewhere lurking on Instagram right now. So super grateful for that opportunity growing up.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So then, was it hands down you wanted to go to college for music, or did you have other options, or you knew that's what you wanted to do?
I knew I wanted to do music because I'm smiling now because now I'm really reminiscing. My parents went to HBCUs. And
Okay.
so it was a thing for us to go down to North Carolina Central University because Eagles fly high always. And every year it was a thing to go to Central for homecoming.
Okay.
And so I remember as early as maybe 5 or 6 years old, my dad and taking me down to homecoming. And it was just, we called it Eagle Land. He's like, we're going to Eagle Land. We're going to Eagle Land. And so we would go down there, and I got that little taste of being on college campus and seeing, college life. And I got to experience going and watching the marching band warm up
Hmm.
and just being a part of that world at an early age. Exposure.
Yeah.
And so and plus I was into the Cosbys back then,
Yes, indeed.
and I wanted to go to Hillman. That was a thing, like
Because it's Hillman.
Yeah, because it's Hillman. Yes.
Yes.
It was either that or I wanted to go see The Wretched in Baltimore.
Please don't go see the Wretched, baby. Don't go see it. No.
Fun.
And don't
Big fun.
fun. Big fun. And don't stop for donuts in Wilmington.
We know you got donuts.
So there's a question here in the chat, which I think is rather interesting. Raphael is asking, doesn't French horn cause damage to the vocal cords because of the air pressure? Can you speak to that?
I didn't suffer any issues with that because it was still at an early age. Remember, I stopped playing the French horn in 12th grade.
Okay.
So by the time I got to college and started studying with Mrs. Scott and everyone, I was not playing the French horn anymore. So I never made it that far. I was good. Now,
I'm not surprised.
if Dr. Palmer gets on here right now, Dr. Palmer can chime in and tell him. But I never had to deal with that because I started studying voice at an early age. I think it was 10th or 11th grade. And that was just to make sure that I was lined up and everything was going well for the musicals and things like that. But when I really started studying seriously voice, I wasn't playing the French horn anymore. So I'm not sure. That could be, I imagine, because of the subglottal pressure that he's talking about, along with the embouchure, that could cause some issues. But I haven't had any issues with that because I wasn't playing whenever I really started digging in and studying voice and repertoire and that type of a thing formally.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, one of our esteemed colleagues is here, Mr. Christian Van Horn.
That's my cousin. That's my cousin.
Our Claggart.
Hey, cuz. What's going on, cuz?
Beat 2 quarters, Christian.
Okay, beat 2 quarters. Beat 2 quarters. Yes.
For anybody who doesn't know, that's from Billy Budd, where Sydney and I were just at in San Francisco with the great Christian Van Horn.
Okay.
He was so fantastic. It's good to see you, buddy. I hope you're well.
Up on that stage.
So where did you go to school? Where did you end up doing?
Yeah, man. At first I wanted to go to Florida State.
Yeah.
And I had this thing where I wanted to go to Florida State for some reason. I didn't know who I wanted to study with there, but I was studying with Dr. Julie Fortney at Mars Hill College in high school.
Okay.
And she was like, "Oh, I have a friend that I want you to meet that I know from Nats. And I think once you meet her, you will want to go study with her at UNC Greensboro." And at that time, I had only ever had one Black teacher in high school. His name was Mr. Paris. He was the art teacher. And so she introduced me to LaVon Tobin Scott. And I was just so fascinated because, I grew up around strong Black women.
Yeah.
My shirt says, "Shout out to Black women just because."
Just because.
And so I grew up around strong Black women. And when I met Mrs. Scott, that just blew my mind, And Dr. Fortney was right. And I ended up going to study with Mrs. Scott at UNC Greensboro. And, that was the best place for me. I actually just told one of my students today, I don't know if he's in the room right now, but I said, whenever I got to grad school, I had quite a bit of experience on the stage just because David Hawley, who is the head of the opera program still at UNCG, he made sure that we had stage experience. We had recital practicum classes. We were on our feet. We were troubleshooting. We were doing those things. So by the time I got to grad school, there was room for growth, a lot of it. There was a lot of room for growth, but I wasn't going in with no experience at all.
Right.
And so to this very day, one of the best decisions I made was going to UNC Greensboro to study with Mrs. Scott.
Amen.
Who I talked to yesterday.
How's she doing?
She's fine. I feel like she teaches more now as a retired person, someone who's retired, than she did, when she was actually working for the university. But she's fine and enjoying retirement. And she still advises me. Especially with my students. And when I'm in town, if I go home, that is a part of my trip. I go and I have a checkup with Mrs. Scott.
Fantastic.
Because she helped build this voice. you
Yeah.
know. So I go in and I have a checkup, and I'll stay down there for 2 or 3 days and just have lessons for a couple of days, and then go on about my business, leave her alone, you know.
Well, Miss Scott, Dr. Scott is getting some shout outs here. Laquita Mitchell is shouting out Dr. Scott.
Oh, okay.
And my nephew in the business, Elliot Brown, he's a young tenor from down in South Carolina. He knows Dr. Scott as
Okay.
well. So
Yes.
she's quite the legend.
Yes, she is. We call her the Queen Mother.
Come on, mother. I
We call
love
her
it.
the Queen Mother. Yes, she's the Queen Mother.
So from there, you went to the esteemed Juilliard School.
I did. You know, I wanted to go to Curtis, and then,
Okay.
well, I wanted to go to Curtis, and I actually cried in the library at UNCG when I didn't get in there because I made it to the finals.
Okay.
And then I had it in my head that I wanted to go to Florida State again to study with Yvonne Chanella
Okay.
because that's who Miss Scott studied with. And I was like, well, I'll go study with Miss Yvonne Chanella. She was like, how you gonna study with Yvonne Chanella? She's dead, you know. So my friend Laura Poe, who just came in,
Yes.
Laura Poe,
We love you, Laura.
I remember I had auditioned for Juilliard as well, and Laura Poe found out that she got into Juilliard. We went down to the cafeteria, and the mail room was under the cafeteria. Laura Poe probably don't know I remember this, but she was like, "Have you heard anything from any of the schools?" I said, "Well, I hadn't got in anywhere else, and you know, I'm kind of sad. I really want to go to Curtis." So she said, "Well, I got my packet from Juilliard." She got her packet right there. And so I went to check my mail, which I never do. Even to this day, I'll check mail late. And sure enough, I had this packet from Juilliard, and we both got into Juilliard. And
Wow.
so I was like, okay, cool. Once again, not what I had planned to do, but it ended up being one of the best moves ever. I
Yeah.
learned volumes at Juilliard. Um, one of the most influential teachers I ever had was Mary Anthony Cox. And
Okay.
she's the matriarch there. She was the ear training teacher. And she said, honey, you don't leave the house without your calendar. I mean, I quote Mary Anthony Cox to this day when I'm teaching, you know? And so, yeah, man, I ended up going to Juilliard. I met some of my dearest friends there with who I still chit chat and talk to and kiki
Yeah.
with. It was just, yeah, we had a great time. We had a
We
great
love you
time.
too, Laura. Laura saying,
Oh,
love
hey,
you
Laura
guys.
Poe. Laura Poe just got a new piano.
Listen, and for those of you out there who do not know Laura Poe, you need to know Laura Poe. She is
Yes.
one of the fiercest pianists, coaches,
Yep.
collaborative pianists, repetitors. Like, if you needed to learn it, Laura Poe gonna get it in you.
She'll get it in your throat.
Get it in you.
Yep.
Listen, anybody who can get me to learn that big old John Adams score is just.
Okay. Yes.
I'm so grateful. So grateful.
Facts. Big facts.
Amazing. Amazing. So at Juilliard, is that where you sort of found this love of the recital, of putting them together and presenting them? Because, you know, there is this thing that some opera singers have where they think recitals are less important,
Mm-hmm.
or they're tedious,
Mm-hmm.
or they're, you know, unnecessary.
Yeah.
How did you find the love for the art of the recital? Because I think recitals are incredible.
Mrs. Scott taught me that.
Yeah. Okay.
I was a concert artist recitalist before I was an opera singer.
Okay.
You
Okay.
know, my career bloomed late. You know, when I started working with ADA is when I started getting a lot of opera work. I'm very grateful for my journey and my path. But, you know, Anna and Sean really helped kind of lead me into the opera world. I was doing concerts and recitals before I left North Carolina. And also, I went to Music Academy in the summer. So that's where I met
the Music Academy of the West. Okay.
Yep. And I met Miss Horn and Warren, and we worked on recital rep there. But that love and that interest came from my freshman year in college. I didn't sing anything with words on it for the first semester of my college career. Miss Scott only let me sing Vakai, Panofka,
Amen.
exercises she made up. I think I memorized Panafka Opus 85. So I had no idea of what repertoire I did, but I wasn't singing repertoire until maybe February or March of the second semester of my first year. We worked on vocal technique. We worked on all these vocalese exercises. She incorporated ear training into my warm-ups and things because she believed I needed to have a better ear than I had.
Okay.
You know? And so I started recitals and stuff like that. I don't even think I had an aria. My first aria I ever sang was my junior year of college.
Wow.
Yeah, I learned how to sing on Art Song.
That's fantastic. I thought I was bad because in my first year of college and undergrad, we weren't allowed to learn arias. And the one aria that I ended up learning was because I needed one for the Nats competition.
Yep, that's why I did it too, because they changed something with Nats, and Miss Scott was like, I will allow you to sing Bella Siccome un Angelo, but that is it.
That's it.
And I didn't ask anymore. The
That's
next
it.
thing she gave me was O Du Mein Holder, and I didn't sing that in public until I got to Juilliard. So, she really protected me.
Yeah.
She's super protective whenever I was growing up.
So who are some of your favorite folks to put on a recital when you're crafting a recital? Like if you had all of your druthers to be able to sing what you wanted,
yes.
who would be on there?
Yeah, I definitely would have Dupac on there. I definitely would. This would have to be like a series of recitals because I got into Beethoven at Juilliard and like just super big time Beethoven fan.
And see, he and I are not friends yet.
Yeah, I got into like Schubert, Beethoven. I finished reading Schumann's biography during the quarantine. So I love those composers. Who I'm really interested in now. I'm obsessed with Harry Burleigh.
Yes.
I'm obsessed with Harry Burleigh. And in particular, I'm obsessed with his art song.
Yes.
So a lot of people don't understand that Harry Burleigh wrote art song. And so this fall, what I'm doing with my studio is we're going to try to do a studio recital of the art song of Harry Burleigh. And I'm going to let them sing. I'm going to curate it and coach it. And I'm going to let them sing. And I'm going to give a lecture. Hopefully Marty Newland is going to be able to help me. You know, she's the go-to. She's the go-to. Yes. So
she's the GOAT, baby.
Yep. And so I love Harry Burleigh. I'm obsessed with Florence Price. I just got the new.
Me too.
I just got it. It came in the mail. I love it.
Glendower sent that to me last week.
He sent that to me. Yep. So I got that in the mail. Who else am I listening to? I'm actually getting ready to do a recording with Warren Jones. I don't even know if I'm supposed to say that, but it's out now. I'm doing a recording with Warren in August or September of the music of Dr. Sheila Silver.
Okay. Love
her. And so we're going to record 3 of her pieces for a big CD that she's doing of her music. And there are going to be some great artists on there. I'm not sure who the record company is, but you know, it's well known. And so we're going to do that. So I've been reading a lot of her stuff lately. I love Howard Swanson.
Yes.
I love Robert Owen. I just got some of his stuff from Glendower as well. I always check out my audience. So I look and see where am I performing? You know, is this going to be a recital at Carnegie, or is this going to be a recital with the wonderful Friday Morning Music Club down in Jacksonville, Florida?
Right.
Is this going to be a Schwabacher recital in San Francisco? And that's one thing that I picked up from watching Kathy Griffin's My Life on the D-List.
Only you would get that from that source.
Well, she's so meticulous because she was like, she always writes her jokes out in the car on the way to the thing. But she goes early to wherever she's going to go so she can go out and meet people and go to the bars and stuff like that so that she'll know her audience. And then she makes up jokes about that region or that town or things like that, you know? And so I was like, yeah, you should know your audience, you know? If I'm going to do a recital at Riverside Church, well, Dr. Forbes is going to want to hear me sing Black composers. He loves it all. But he's
Yeah.
going to want to hear some of those spirituals. I know my church family, like in that capacity. So I try to program, but I always try to program spirituals. I always try to program Black composers, you know. So it just depends on the audience. But some of my favorites, you know, I love Duparc. I like anything where I can just kind of lay my voice out there.
Yes.
Mahler, do a lot of Mahler, things like that.
He's my favorite German man.
Yeah,
I
I love
love
Mahler.
him. I love
I
him
love
so
Mahler,
much.
and you have to be you got to be in your right mind to sing Mahler.
Yes, God.
Like, I mean, you got to turn the phone off. You know, you can't be tweeting and being like, "I'm getting ready to go on stage." Nah,
Mm-mm.
dog. I'm
Mm-mm.
right here. I'll tweet you
No.
when we're done because Mahler's not gonna come sneak up on me. I love to warm up a recital with some Mozart. You know,
Okay.
but my big thing in 2020 this year was I did my first Winterreise in
Oh,
January. I did my
congratulations.
first Winterreise, and you know, Warren and I were getting ready to do some more. Also, with the help of Mark, I coached some of it with Mark Markham whenever I was in DC, and we really just dug into that. It was interesting to try to learn something so big
And
on the
iconic.
road. Well, on the
Yeah.
road, because
Yeah.
I was on the road, and if I wasn't on the road, I was sleeping long enough to go out to the school because I got kids graduating. I wanted to make sure they were together, recitals and stuff. So it was interesting to be able to call upon the village to help me with that task, you know. And I always think about Toni Morrison when she was talking about raising her kids and also being an editor and a writer. And they asked her, how do you do that? And she said, it literally takes a village.
Yeah.
Without my support system, my family, my friends helping me with these boys, I wouldn't be able to do all of this. So
Be a man.
I was super grateful to Mark, you know, because I was pressing up from DC in the mornings, and then I had rehearsals at the Kennedy Center that evening and performance. So I think, and Mark can correct me, I think I did a coaching with him on the day of my debut at the Kennedy Center. You
Wow.
know, because you want it in your throat. You want it in your spirit.
Yeah.
You want it in
Yeah.
your spirit. And so that was a big thing for me in January.
So talk about your your musical partnership with Warren Jones. Like
Mm-hmm.
he and Mark are like the best of the best of them.
Yeah.
Either it's Mark Markham,
Yeah.
Warren Jones, Martin Katz,
Yeah.
you know.
Absolutely.
How does a relationship like that
Yeah.
happen?
Well, you know, it started out teacher student because I
Okay.
started working. I call him Reverend Jones.
Yes.
So, you know, I'd be like, hey, Rev, you know, what's going on, Rev? But it started out a teacher student situation because I was coaching with him at Music Academy and working with him. And during that time, and they probably still do this, where they would have concerts and things like that, and you would get to do concerts intermixed with the faculty. And Warren asked me to do, it was the first time I ever sang the 5 songs of Lawrence Hope. Now,
Mm.
that's interesting because normally women sing them.
Yes. Yes.
And so I was like, well, Warren, do you think I should sing these? And he was like, you sing what you love. You know, he was like, do you like them? And I was like, yeah, I love these songs. He was like, come on, man, let's do them. You know, and so we did them. And Warren and I, that was 2005.
Wow.
And so you just have that connection. You know, you just have that connection. He's kind of like, I would consider him like my Susan Rice. You know,
Yes.
he's right up there as a senior advisor, you know, and it's just, we just built that relationship in that capacity. And then as I matured and, you know, trying to bridge that gap into the professional world, now we
Mhm.
act as colleagues.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
we're colleagues. But Warren has known me since I was in my mid-20s and
Okay.
really had a major hand in cultivating how I move artistically.
Yeah.
He challenged me. He still does. Oh, he still does challenged me to how I think about music. And there are other people as well. You know, I'm not, you know, no shade to nobody else. I'm just talking about Warren. He challenges me on how to think about music. And also, he's just a wonderful guide on how to take that knowledge and impart it on my students as well. You know, never forceful, never, you know, just he says, will you do me a favor? That's when I know Warren is getting ready to, you know, start preaching about something. He say, Sidney, would you do me a favor? And we'll look at something, you know, and we'll shape it, or this right here, you know. Warren taught me about bowings. Like when I see long bowing marks over words in songs or arias or whatever, he taught me about bowings and made me curious about how a stringed instrument works and how that correlates with the voice, you know. And so he taught me about the speed of the vibrato and setting tempo, things like that. And so I, hands down, one of my biggest influences to this very minute.
Amazing.
To this very minute, you know.
I'm just always fascinated and inspired by singer-pianist relationships. You know, Miss Price had David Garvey. Miss Horn had, you know, Martin Katz. And Miss Battle had Margot Garrett. And, you know, it's just...
And also Joseph Joubert. She worked with Joseph Joubert.
Exactly. And so I'm personally establishing that same sort of relationship with Kevin Miller.
Absolutely.
Like we just have a rhythm.
Yes, that's what it is. It's a rhythm, it's an energy, and it's a... Because he's probably been playing for me so long now, Warren can look at the way I take a breath and know what the hell's getting ready to happen. Oh, Lord, here we go. I'm pretty consistent, though. You know, I'm pretty consistent. So, you know, as a professional, even now that we're so close, I make sure that I am prepared when I go into rehearsal with him, because Warren is operating at such a high level. I remember the prime example, Kenny, the first time we did a run through of the first maybe 8 Venturizer.
Yeah.
And I was singing really well. You know, I went over to his house like, yes, okay, I'm ready to go. Okay. And he said, and I was like, I mean, he brought it because he's been playing Venturizer forever. Yes. You know, just like with Mark, you know, I thought I was prepared when I walked up in there. And then he showed that both of them men showed me another level at what I needed to be working on, you know.
When you get a chance, I want you to go to Karen Slack's page and watch her show Kiki Convos with the conversation that she had with Mark Markham.
Oh, yes.
And I want you to not only you watch it, I want you to share that with your kids, with your students.
They usually go see her show because they watch her show. My kids usually watch her show like we used to watch the Cosbys at 8 o'clock on Thursday.
8 o'clock.
Yes, yes. So I usually don't have to tell them, y'all go watch this show, because like Eric and them, they be on there anyways. They be on there anyways.
It was a full-on church service, from opening announcements to the choir's first selection to the sermon to the offering to the benediction. It was all of that. I got so much from it. So much from it.
They did everything but do a call to altar.
Exactly. Any new members?
For we preach not ourselves, but Christ Jesus the Lord, and ourselves your service for Jesus' sake. And these applause are especially for you.
Amen.
It's true.
Yeah,
it's true. It, you know, it's a lot of work that goes into it, and you have to. It's also a lot of work being a mentor. Yes, God. It's also a lot of work being a mentor, and so I am super grateful to people like Warren and Mark and Miss Horn and Mrs. Scott, all the people. You know, Maya Angelou says, anytime you go on stage, you take everyone that's ever helped you. Everybody. Oh, my God. And I think about everyone that has ever helped me. My God. And I try to take that. Even today, I've been teaching all day. I had lessons all day today. And each time I teach one of those young men or women, I say, I'm going to take everything I can that has been given to me,
Yeah,
and I'm going to try to send that off to them as well. You
absolutely.
know, so it's so important, especially now. I always talk about the playing field being level.
Yeah,
And so I try to make sure that I do that. I hold myself accountable in order to lead by example.
yes, absolutely.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
So take me now to the operatic stage,
Yeah,
because you do traditional works, you do new works, you do lesser known works,
yeah,
you do French and German, Italian and English, and there's not a lot of artists that do that broad
yeah,
of a repertoire, and
yeah.
you manage that. Is that something that you do consciously, or is that you're taking the jobs that come to you, or you seek that variety?
I had to do it to survive at first. Remember my career operatically. Oh, there's Shin Yi. He just came in. Shin Yi is a wonderful pianist too, y'all. He plays for my studio at Queens College. Um, I had to do it to survive at first. Remember, I've had wonderful people that I've worked with, but starting out, a lot of times I was asked to do new works.
Okay.
I was asked to do those types of things. And because of my training at Juilliard, working in modus novus, modus vetus, being able to call pitches and chords out of the middle of the air for a grade, you learn for a grade, you had to be able, oh, is that my sister? My sister just joined. My sister, hey Alicia, my sister just chopped on.
Hi,
Um,
sister.
so I had to do it to survive, and I had that skill, and it was fresh because of coming out of school,
Yeah.
and I just used it in that capacity. I had a great time doing that. The best thing that I did Malcolm X, Anthony Davis's X,
Come on
and
now.
I got to do that with City Opera for the Vox series back when it was
Yes.
new. I'm sorry, I was clapping because I got excited.
Yes,
Um,
God.
that it was me and Robert Mack,
Yep. I
Christy
remember.
Swan. Who else was up in that thing? Brad Moore played the piano. It was back when Corey Lipiello was in charge over there
Yep.
across the street, and we
Corey
had
Ellison, Corey
Corey
Lipiello.
Ellison. Yep,
Yep.
we had such a good time doing that, and I actually got to sing something that that just pops into my mind right now. There's other
Yeah.
things as well. Dr. Wayne O'Quinn set 6 of Dr. King's speeches for my Marilyn Horne Foundation debut. And I premiered them in 2007. I think that's when I did my recital down at St. Bart's. And
Hmm.
so, but we had to put those on the shelf for a little bit until we can get the rights. We want the lifetime rights. So
That the family is really tough to deal with to get the
they
rights.
are, but you know what?
Mercy.
I got Dr. Forbes helping me, and we're gonna try to figure some stuff out. But I'm
Yeah.
also looking at working with some composers, working on some new stuff too.
Yeah.
And so I had to. It went from art song, concert stuff like that, then getting into new works, new operas, and I really started getting into standard repertoire when I decided to go back to college to get my doctorate in
Okay.
2017, something like that. And I told my manager, I said, watch this. I'm going to go back to school. And I promise you, by October, everybody's going to be calling, want me to do something. She said, nah, go. Let's do it. Let's do it. Now's the time. So I went back to school. And then all of a sudden, everything started, coming in. I did Yardbird. That was wonderful. I had a great
Hmm.
time doing Yardbird, things like that. I did The Fix, world premiere of The Fix by Joel Puckett with Minnesota Opera. Had a great time doing that. But also now I'm mixing in some standard repertoire, and I get to lay my voice out in a different capacity.
Yes.
And that also feels really lovely. Looking at a little bit of Verdi, early stuff.
Come
Um,
on, V.
I listened to the Manchester Chamber Music Festival
Okay.
last night. They did a rebroadcast of a recital that Warren Jones, myself, Elaine Alvarez, um, uh, who else? there were some other people that came up there. It was a bunch of us that were up there. And Elaine and I did the second act duet. And that was the first time I had ever...
From...
Traviata.
Uh-huh.
And we did the whole scene. And that was the first time I'd ever done anything in public by Verdi.
It's a stunning scene.
Well, they sent us the video and the recording, you know, after the performance back in 2018. And I shelved it in my office. I was like, I'll listen to that at a later date. Because I wasn't sure about that, you know, and I've grown a lot now, and I'm okay with that kind of change, you know, and I'm doing it on my own time, slowly. And I listened to it last night because I had to. And it was really good.
Come on now.
I loved it. I loved it. And I just sat back and I listened and I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed listening to my colleagues, all of them sing. And when that came up, I was listening without critique. I wasn't listening to go, ooh, I didn't do that, or ooh, I didn't do that, ooh, I didn't do that. I was listening and I said, my God, my voice is actually, she's settling in, she's maturing, and she's just kind of purring in a natural way. Nothing was affected. And so, you know, you live, you learn, you grow, and I am leaning into getting older artistically and technically, and
I promise you, it's so much fun.
Yeah, it is.
Like I know my voice so much better now than I think I ever have, and it is so amazing to get to explore it and say, "Look, sir, can we try this?"
Yep, and I have the courage to say that.
Yes.
I have the courage to ask the conductor or the director or whomever I'm working with to say that, and to be open to artistic diplomacy. Maybe they want me to meet them in the middle of the road, you know.
Right.
Because I'll get real old school on you. I'll be like, I just want to stand right here and sing my beautiful high note. Because it's beautiful. I want to stand here and sing my beautiful high note. You know, every now and then I'll have a director that will let me do that, and that feels good, you know. But I'm leaning into aging, and I'm, you know, my parents aged well, so I'm happily, I'll be 39 in September.
Go into it boldly, darling.
Boldly. Be bold. Be strong.
Be bold.
Okay, you know, so I'm just riding the wave and making sure that my students have all they need, and make sure that they stay on top of their technically and artistically, you know.
Absolutely. So who are some of your vocal influences? Like, who do you listen to? Who excites you?
Oh, Kitty, now you know who I listen to. You share the dressing room with me. Okay, out there in the garage.
This is for the people.
Out there in the garage, okay. Well, you know, and any of my students will get on here and they'll tell you that anything that the great and powerful Leontine Price sings,
anything.
Anything. You know, actually, I was listening to one of her Amsterdam interviews a long time ago with my buddy Thomas Cannon, and we used to sit on we call them the red couch conversations at Juilliard back in the old lobby, and they had these red sofas, and we would sit over there, and it was back when I had my iBook, and we would listen to old interviews, and Miss Price did an interview, and that's where I first got the idea about the career being three-faceted.
Absolutely.
Because the man asked her, he was like, you do recitals, you do concerts, and you do opera, and she says, well, yeah, they taught us to be ambidextrous at the
ambidextrous. As a neophyte, they taught us
as a neophyte, yes, as a neophyte. Dr. Dannegrove, okay, exactly. So,
Maestro Eric Leinsdorf.
Yes, Maestro Eric Leinsdorf. And so I listen to Leontine Price. I've been listening to a lot of Grace Bunbury lately.
Mm-hmm.
Who else? I've been listening to a lot of Simon Estes. I've been looking up his stuff online. Who else? I always listen to Fischer D. Scow.
Yes.
I've been kind of obsessed with Daniel Barenboim. I hope he's watching. I want to work with Daniel Barenboim. And
Put it out there.
Yep, I want to work with Daniel Barenboim. Okay. I want to work with John Elliott Gardner. I've been listening to a lot of his stuff. I always listen to these composers. In particular, I've been listening to Daniel Barenboim play the piano.
Mm-hmm.
I've been listening to a lot of piano music. Martha Ardrich. I've been listening to a lot of piano music as just to be informed about my singing.
Yes.
And so I've been doing those types of things, listen to those types of artists. I still listen to R&B. I listen to a lot of R&B. I've
Yes,
been listening
God.
to Layla Hathaway.
Mm-hmm.
I listen to Layla Hathaway before bed. And usually I listen to her while I'm reading. I'm reading The Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison now. Who else am I listening to these days? I still listen to a lot of Kelly Price.
Oh, she sings. She
Yep,
sings.
absolutely, absolutely. Of course, I listen to Fanny.
Yes.
I listen to Fantasia. I guess I could just get my phone and look and see who else am I listening to. Oh, Kelly Rowland had this song out called Diamonds. I've been listening to that. Yeba.
Okay.
My favorite R&B artist right now who I would love to work with is PJ Morton.
Put it out there. A fierce old mashup. Put it out there.
I love PJ Morton. I love anything PJ Morton, right? I loved his daddy's music. I grew up on his father's music. So I've been listening to a lot of PJ Morton. Who else? I listen to a lot of old John Legend.
Yes.
Take it slow, this time we'll take it slow. Who else am I listening to? Of course, if you hadn't asked me, would have been able to riddle off a whole bunch of stuff, But yeah, the biggest person I've been listening to is PJ Morton.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I love me some PJ Morton and Yeba.
Yeah.
People like that genre. I still listen to Erykah Badu. If you play Jill Scott, I'm gonna know it.
Yes.
So I try to keep it eclectic. I'll listen to the Bangles as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cyndi Lauper. So it's very eclectic, and for me, it all just kind of informs. It informs me. It informs
absolutely
how I want to do things musically.
Yep.
So I try to keep it. Especially, I like making playlists for my workouts.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's like, Sydney, make a playlist. I have like 42 playlists that I never share on Spotify. I have 42, like I have a Janelle Monae playlist.
I love her.
And I love Janelle Monae too,
love
because
her.
Janelle Monae, her first 3 albums, volumes 1 through 3, tell the story of Cindy Mayweather, who is a droid, droid number 73057 fell in love with a human named Anthony Greendown. And during this time, that's illegal. And so the police are after them to dismantle her. And so she tells this whole story of their love affair on the road, running away from the police. That's where you get, whether you're high or low. All of those have to do with the sweet chase. Right. And so I've been really into that type of stuff. And I made a playlist that kind of cut the story and told the highlights through that playlist so that I could go to CrossFit and work out. Tell Eric that she kind of strayed away from Cindy Mayweather for Dirty Computer. I saw where he liked Dirty Computer. But in order for him to understand Dirty Computer fully, he needs to go all the way back to the Sweet Chase #1. Yeah. And she had orchestral movements and everything in there, and it was. Come
on, Janelle.
Oh, it's amazing. Back when she was signed to Bad Boy Records.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. You got to go listen to Janelle Monae. And if you listen to it in order, all 3 albums in order.
Yeah.
It's like a Star Wars trilogy. Mm-hmm.
Well, now I have to publicly thank you.
Why?
For donating generously to the campaign to get this documentary made.
Listen, anything I can do to help.
Me and my team are so grateful. And you were the one who put me in touch with Jonathan and Miranda.
Yes. Yep. What's interesting is that one of the biggest things that I learned, that I'm still learning, is to not spread myself too thin.
Yeah.
And to be ready to lift someone else up to a platform to where they can go and do something. And, it's like Whoopi Goldberg says, sometimes she can't sign everybody's paper on the street when she sees them, autograph, you know. She said, I can't give you an autograph right now, but I'll shake your hand. You know, she's trying to do something to help.
Yes.
You know, try to show some type of appreciation, right? I don't have enough time to take a picture with you, but I'll give you a hug right quick, and then I got to go, you know, to lift somebody up. And, you know, Jonathan is my good buddy from Juilliard, you know, and his heart is in the right place, and he's ambitious as fuck. I mean, just amazing. Yes. I mean, relentless.
Yeah.
You know, he'd be a great campaign manager for somebody if they wanted to run for president. Anybody can run now.
Listen, I was going to run, but I looked back at the 90s and decided against it.
Yeah, I ain't going to be able to do it, boo. I ain't going to be able to do it, honey. I even got my neighbors up in here. Rachel just joined. She live up above me. But, you know, I'm glad that this is taken off. And you know, if I can help in any other capacity, you know, let me know. I wish we could get Mr. Frederick Smith involved. Let's put that out there.
Let's put it out there. Put it out there.
Let's put that out there. You know, I think what you all are doing is fantastic. It's a story that needs to be told.
Absolutely.
And I'm grateful that you all have taken this on to do it.
Well, we appreciate it. And I appreciate you, friend. And, you know, as we sort of wind down, because Instagram only gives you an hour and we've been going.
Okay. Listen, we'll go.
But you and I need to do something together.
Yes,
because
everybody think we look alike.
Everybody think we are the same person.
Mm-hmm.
Right before we went to San Francisco, I was at Opera America.
Oh, God.
And I was walking to the elevator. I was finished what I needed to do in there.
You was pissing out.
This young lady and her friend were getting off the elevator. And they were like, well, hello to you too, Sidney. And I was like, I'm not Sidney.
Yep. They thought you wasn't going to speak.
Right. They thought I was being mean.
Yeah, they thought you wasn't going to speak. Okay, they just didn't know that my little Virgo had been kicked in the same situation. Exactly. Right. Mark's like a Virgo. Yep. That little Virgo kicked in.
A Leo, right, and I'm a Leo too, Mark. I'm Leo and Virgo, baby. Listen.
Yep. Listen. Yep, that happened to me at Bank of America. Somebody shouted me down at the Bank of America across from Carnegie Hall back before they turned it into something else. And I didn't know. I was like, somebody's out there yelling. They was like, Kenny! I looked around. It wasn't nobody but me out there, and they waving. And I was like, they talking about me. They waving at me. So I just wave, and I keep it going. You know.
The only way we're going to fix it is if we do a recital together. And so
we need to figure out how to do
we need to be on stage at the same time.
Yep. Like Shirley Barrett and
Grace.
Margaret. I want the one with the fleur. I want the feather puffs, please. I want the feather puffs.
You can have the ostrich feathers.
Yes, I'm gonna get the ostrich feathers, please.
You can have that. And Markham, you're gonna have to play.
Okay.
So we're gonna put it out there. We're gonna put it out there.
Absolutely. I go over to the church and get the Baptist hymnal out of the pews so we can we'll just have a hymnathon.
Absolutely.
We'll have a hymnathon. Yep.
So what do you want to say to the folks as we get out of here? Any parting words of wisdom? What do you want to do as soon as Miss Rona releases us back into our habitat?
The first thing I want to do is remind my student Eric to make sure that he gets that translated, that aria that he worked on today. I forgot to remind him. I see him down there chit-chatting, talking about a cat duet, but what I really want him to do is make sure he got that music together next week.
You heard it, Eric. You heard it.
The next thing I want to do is say happy birthday to another student of mine, Carlos Arcos. Today is his birthday.
Oh, hey, Carlos. Happy birthday.
And then I just want to... One thing I've been telling myself is to always continue to find the joy in singing. Times are hard. Life is hard right now. We don't know what's going to happen. Hell, we don't even know when school's going to start. You know, those types of things. We don't know what our industry is going to look like. But continue to find the joy in singing and performing and being creative, and continue to lift each other up. You know, just to kind of definitely be unified. You know, Definitely be unified. Continue to write into the officials and tell them to arrest Breonna Taylor's murderers.
Arrest the murderers.
You know,
we know who they are. Arrest them.
And even though, you know, your IG story timelines, Facebook story timelines have died down, continue to do that work to make sure that, you know, the Black Lives Matter movement stays on the forefront, that we continue to make progress in that way.
Yes.
You know, continue to support Black women just because.
Just because.
Just
I need that
because.
shirt.
Just
I
because,
need that shirt.
You know, because every time something go down, Black women are out there on the front line. On the front line. You know, continue to love. I know it's hot. It's 95 degrees, you know, but just check your attitude. Continue to love and continue to, whatever you do, just sing pretty. That's what Miss Scott used to say. She said, honey, just sing pretty. Just sing pretty. I don't know, Miss Scott. Just sing pretty. You know, just sing pretty, you know.
Yeah.
Be kind to one another. Be kind to one another. We need that. And vote.
Please.
Vote.
Like, I would trade.
They said, the post office said it take 14 days to make sure that your thingy get your ballot gets there, which means you need to be at church on time. Send your things in. I'm sending mine in tomorrow if they'll give it to me. So, you know, he may not be your favorite choice, but this is where we are right now. Let's see. Let's hold him accountable if he can get in. Vote. You know,
folks,
vote.
Please.
You know,
please.
John Lewis gave his life for you to have a right to vote. So
yes, God.
You asked me one thing, but there were a couple of things, and
I love
you know, now I leave you alone.
I love it. Well, Instagram is counting me down. Thank you, Fred, for being here. I love you so much.
Let's get Mr. Shilbach to hire us again.
Absolutely. Matthew Shilbach, Greg Hinkle, call us.
Yeah, call us. I'm free. I ain't got nothing going on.
Absolutely. Call us.
Absolutely.
We can do it. I love you. Stay safe.
I love you. Absolutely.
Talk
love
soon.
Y'all. Bye.
Bye.